spoke all of these words saying. And the commentaries all wonder, what does the word saying mean? To say to who? Usually when God spoke to Moses and he added the word saying, it meant to say to the Jewish people. Right. But here, all the Jewish people, whoever will be born, were all present. So why does God add that word lamor to say to who? So, thank you very much. The Mizitcha Maggid says like this: Lamor doesn't here mean to say, it means to communicate. To communicate the 10 commandments into the 10 utterances. There are 10 utterances with which God made the world, and there are 10 commandments, and so these 10 correspond to those 10. As it says in the Torah about the gift of the princes of the Jewish people to the tabernacle, asara kap. Each spoon was a weight, a measurement of 10. So it says asara 10. So the Mizitcha Maggid explains 10 corresponds to 10. What does that mean practically? That the 10 utterances that God made the world with are connected to the 10 commandments. It's very in sync with what we learned earlier this week. The light of the Torah, the light of the 10 commandments, has to illuminate our lives, has to illuminate the world, has to illuminate the world that was created by God's 10 utterances. It's not like some people who think that the world is one thing, the Torah is something else. And when they're in an atmosphere of the Torah, so then the person thinks, then I'll act like a Torah Jew. When I come into the world, then I'll act according to what the world considers to be correct, the way the world approaches things. But rather, what Hashem demands of us is that everything, both things of the world and things of Torah, everything that goes on, even things in the world, have to also be according to the paradigms of Torah. We're not talking about abstaining from forbidden things. That's obvious. Whatever you're not allowed to do, you're not allowed to do. We're referring to our kosher things. They shouldn't be approached with balbata shahanachas. They shouldn't be approached with what the world says to be a given. This is the way you're supposed to approach it. Rather, the approach to all things, even things which are permissible, has to be according to the perspective of Torah. This is the meaning of King David's expression, a statement in Tehillim: bread were my tears day and night, when people said to me all day, where is your God? On the surface, King David is talking about him being in a situation of misfortune, and he's crying, he has nothing to eat, his tears are his bread. And people are asking him, oh, you're going to build a Bais Hamikdash, you're going, like, he's suffering, and things aren't going according to what it seemed to be the plan that Hashem told him was going to happen. So the Rebbe explains this statement in a spiritual way. My tears were my bread day and night. A person is so bitter that tears replace food. The tears, when a person's very upset, so they don't feel hungry. So why is a person so bitter? Why is the Jew so upset? Because people are pining, because there's an accusation that is being leveled against me. What's the accusation that's being leveled against me? Where is your God all day? Your God here means your strength, your power. And who is your God? Hashem. Hashem is your God. Hashem, who is beyond time and space and beyond the spiritual cosmos. He is your power. He is your life. He is Havai Lakecha. Not only is Hashem, how Hashem transcends the world, is like your life and strength, but Anoichi Havai Lakecha. I, who am I, Hashem's essence, who is beyond even being called beyond, Hashem's essence is your life and strength. And this is the question that Hashem asks us, that we're being asked from in heaven. Where is your God all day? Where is your feeling that Hashem is your God all day? The fact that you feel that Hashem is your God when you daven or by a farbrengen, that's not enough. This is in the script. I'm translating. The fact that you feel Hashem is your God during a farbrengen, that's too little. That's not enough. That's not the intent why God placed His soul in the world. If God wanted people to feel that Hashem was their God only during a farbrengen or during davening, then He would have been satisfied with creating angels or with the souls as they are in heaven. Rather, the reason why the soul is brought into this world is to elevate the animal soul, because the soul doesn't need to be fixed. And therefore, the question that's asked from each of us from heaven is that the whole day, while you're eating, while you're drinking, while you're doing business, while you're speaking with people, there should be your God. The same thing that you understood when you prayed, when you studied Torah, that's the same thing you should feel while you are talking to people and eating and drinking. That's the meaning of the verse. I was crying because I realized that Hashem has asked me something that's totally different the way I am. Hashem was asking me, where is your God all day? You say I'm your God when you daven my farbrengen, but where am I all day? Do you feel that your life and strength is godly? It's very simple. We learned this earlier with the Rebbe's farbrengen in 19 Tafshanun. Okay, that's the end of the first segment in the volume 1 of Likkutei Sichos. In the next 3 segments, let's see how much time we have. Let's see what we could do. Okay, the next segment, the Rebbe discusses a claim that people have about why you shouldn't study chassidus. They say chassidus is not something you're supposed to learn; it's supposed to be hidden. So the response to that is that when God gave us the Torah, He gave us the entire Torah, the revealed parts of Torah and the hidden parts of Torah. And on the contrary, at that time when God gave us the Torah, the hidden part of Torah was revealed, and the revealed part of Torah was hidden. Because God gave us the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments have 620 letters. They correspond to the 613 Commandments and the 7 laws that were instituted by the Chachamim. It's only that in the 620 letters, there was a hint to the 620 Commandments. What do we have openly and clearly? What was nigla? What was revealed? 10 Commandments. So they had the hidden part of Torah. When God gave us the Torah, was the commandments of Hashem. What was revealed to us when God gave us the Torah? What do we see? We saw God's chariot. So you can't say, oh, you're not allowed to study chassidus because chassidus is meant to be hidden, and you're only allowed to study Gemara and Shulchan Aruch because that's revealed parts of Torah. When God gave us the Torah, He gave us the whole Torah. And on the contrary, the revealed parts of Torah at that time was God's chariot, which is the discussion of the inner dimension of Torah. And the laws of the Torah, the 620 commandments, they all were hidden, they're all nistar in the 10 commandments. In the next segment, everybody discusses 2 other claims people have about why you shouldn't study chassidus. People say like this. Number 1, if it was necessary, where was it till now? So many years Jewish people survive without chassidus, that means it's not necessary. Number 2, this study brings a person to lessen his connection to his sense of self and sense of the physical, and so it's a negative thing. You look at this study as something which cancels you, if you will. So the answer is like this. It says in the Rambam, in the Shemona Prakim, that just like there are different kinds of medicine and ailments of the body, so too there are different kinds of ailments and medicines for the soul. So we can learn a lot from the way things are by the ailments and the cures for various things in the body. We can learn about how to approach ailments of the soul. In general, what does a illness mean? Illness generally means that something's missing, that there's a part of the body that has gotten disturbed, but there's another kind of ailment that nothing's missing in the body. On the contrary, it was something that was added, something grew, a piece of flesh grew on the body. So you might think, what's the big deal? There's another piece of flesh in the body. Nothing's missing in the body. Nevertheless, we see that this is an illness. And on the contrary, sometimes, I should preserve us, this is a greater illness than something missing in the body. And this is, this is a very, very severe illness. I don't even want to call it by its name. No, the Rebbe is referring to Yanamachla. Yeah. The illness is hard to see. So this additional piece of flesh is damaging in the place where it is, and it could spread, or God may Hashem preserve us further. So, since this illness is different than all other kinds of illness, so too the cure of this illness different than the cure of other illnesses. All other cures are given to the person. However, the cure of this illness is to disturb the remaining portion, and through this, the person is truly healed. Want to translate that, Dr. Ressman?
Can't.
Okay, that explains. The cure of this illness was discovered with a...
We're talking about the second part, when something's growing?
Yeah.
Okay.
The cure to this illness, may Hashem preserve us, was discovered only a few generations ago.
Right.
And the methods of how to use this cure was only discovered later. And there's still research being done. So it's self-understood that when someone won't want to use this cure because, number one, it's a cure that a person might say, a cure is only something that can strengthen the body, not to disturb, not to destroy. And this cure is something that disturbs the body. Yes, doctor.
All right. So really, it's not just something growing from the body, it's a loss of normal self-regulation. And that's what causes tumors and cancer tumors. Loss of your normal self-regulation, which is very applicable to people who, you have the Torah, you have the learning, you lose that control, and you grow into different areas.
Okay. The focus of it has is, what's the cure for this?
The cure for this? Yeah, okay.
It's to destroy something.
Yeah. Well, we have to destroy. Yeah, I mean, traditional cancer, you're cutting it out or you're radiating out and stuff like that. Today, we want to think about how to prevent that loss of self-regulation, how to restore it.
Amen. So, but let's say, God forbid, someone already has it, says, and they say, "Oh, I don't want to use that. I don't want to use that cure because medicine is supposed to strengthen the body, not to destroy."
Yeah.
And number two, no one used it generations ago.
Right.
No matter which way you look at it, you have to find a way of how to get it out of the body, or whatever method you do it.
Yes, you do.
So, since generations ago it wasn't used, this cure wasn't used. So I don't want to hear about new doctors with new kinds of medicine. I'll do the way things were done before. So Rebbe said everyone understands that's not really a claim. You can't say, "Oh, it wasn't. No one did this before." Since it's a new kind of illness, it requires a new kind of cure. The fact that you have to strengthen and the rest of the healthy part of the body, you have to strengthen the healthy part of the body, but not this additional piece that has grown in the body, because that doesn't belong to the body. On the contrary, it's damaging the body. So you have to destroy that part. So this illness, may Hashem preserve us, wasn't as common as it is today, and there wasn't such there wasn't so much research done about this. And the main thing is that Hashem didn't give this illness as much. Lately, however, this illness has gotten a lot more common, and Hashem has given the cure before the disease, and it has created the appropriate means to be healed. So everything that exists in the physical world comes from its source in the spiritual world. It has a parallel. So just like this illness and this cure, which was discovered in recent generations, the reason this happens is because there's something similar happening spiritually. The reason why this illness has become promulgated and the reason why its cure has become more necessary is because something similar has happened in the spiritual realm, in the last generations. We are at the last moments before the coming of Mashiach, and soon Hashem is going to put an end to darkness. So automatically there's a stronger kind of klippa of Amalek. Amalek is the klippa of arrogance and a sense of self without any reason. In other words, a person could be arrogant because they're rich, because they're knowledgeable, but Amalek is just an arrogant sort of an arrogance without any reason. So there used to also be arrogance and pride in an unhealthy way, but it wasn't as coarse as it is today. And this is why this is produced physically an entity which has no explanation, no reason, an entity that takes away the energy of the body, as if this entity that is grown in the body is the main thing of the body, and the rest of the body isn't important. In other words, when that disease grows in the person, that disease, God preserve us, it has no rationale in how it's working. It says, so to speak, I'm the main thing, and the body isn't important. All that needs to happen is my growth and my preservation. So this is a product of a spiritual malady where people have this, before Mashiach comes, have this sense of the evil of Amalek, where there's an arrogance without any explanation, without any rationale. It's a new kind of arrogance that didn't exist before. So Hashem gave the cure for the disease. And Hashem gave us the teachings of chassidus, and this causes this annihilates this illness of arrogance, the sense of self. It's self-understood that in one detail, the parable is not like the analog. In the parable, if you delay the cure for too long, that could, God forbid, cause something terrible to happen to the healthy part of the body. However, if you continue the cure for too long, if you're using the cure too much, that could destroy the body, not delaying the cure. If you use the cure for too long, if a person is undergoing treatment more than necessary, that can hurt the healthy part of the body too. However, the spiritual source, an analog for this, in chassidus, you can learn more and more chassidus, and it will not destroy you. It will only destroy the part of you which is not healthy, the arrogance. But the healthy part of you, it will give energy and strength, as it says that the Torah is called oz v'toshia. The Torah is called strength and something that breaks. It gives strength to the godly soul and only breaks the animal soul. It will not destroy the healthy part of you. It will only destroy the unhealthy parts. So, in short, what the Rebbe is saying is that the reason why Hashem has given us these teachings of chassidus is because it's because at this time of the exile, there's a new kind of spiritual malady, which is surfacing in a physical malady that mirrors the spiritual malady. And ironically, the way to destroy this malady is by unconventional means, by attacking it instead of by strengthening the healthy parts of the body. And so too, we must learn chassidus, which, although it seems like it lessens you, makes you less arrogant, less of a sense of self. On the contrary, it's not taking away anything healthy from you. It's only taking away things which are not healthy. That was the third segment of farbrengen, and I think we have time to try to do a fourth segment. There is a famous story about Rebbe and Rivka. Rebbe and Rivka was unhealthy when she was very young, and the doctors told her she needs to eat as soon as she gets up, but she didn't want to eat before she davened. So what did she do? She davened really early so she could eat at the same time doctor said that she should eat. But that obviously didn't help her. And the Tzemach Tzedek said a Jew has to be healthy, a Jew has to have energy. The Torah says that you should do the mitzvahs with vitality, you have to bring energy into the mitzvahs. And in order to bring energy in the mitzvahs, you have to have a healthy body. You have to be power, you have to have strength, you have to be happy. And the Tzemach Tzedek told her you should not be unhealthy. It's better you should eat before you pray than pray before you eat. Whatever we hear from our Rebbes is not just a story. The fact that it was told to us, it's certainly a lesson.
So is it pray before eat or pray in order to eat?
You should
It's
eat to
better
pray
that-
rather than
No,
pray
no,
to
like a
eat.
couple days ago?
Yes, it's better that you should eat in order to pray than pray in order to eat. Got it?
Yeah.
So in our lives, this has a very generic message. It's a whole different paradigm of living. That explains. There's two parts of our life. There are things we do for God, we study Torah, we do mitzvahs. There are things we do for ourselves. Whether we need those things or we think we need them. But those are the things we do for Hashem are the category of davening. Things we do for Hashem. Things we do for ourselves are in the category of eating. What does davening mean? Davening means you're connecting to the King of all kings. You're knowing before whom you're standing. Eating, on the other hand, is about you're hungry for something. You want to get something. So what do you do when you're hungry for something? You satisfy your hunger by eating. So all the things we do for ourselves are called eating. All things we do for Hashem are called davening. So in the way to approach how to daven and how to eat, there are many ways. There could be a situation that a person is divided, that his eating and his davening have no connection to each other. When he davens, when he learns, when he does a mitzvah, when he prays, so he has no connection with the world, and you could think he's a perfect tzaddik. But later, when he comes down to his business or to eat, actually eating, you cannot tell if this guy has any connection to holiness, spirituality, or refinement. But that's obviously not correct. That's foolish. That's not what we're talking about. But there's a second model, which is more relevant, and that is as follows: that there's a connection between your prayers, the things you do for God, and eating, the things you do for yourself. And you look in the Shulchan Aruch, look in the code of Jewish law to know what you're supposed to do. You're always doing the right thing. But why are you davening? You're davening in order to eat. That means that since you know that you have a misfortune, that you need God, and the way to get stuff from God is by keeping His mitzvahs. The Torah says, if you'll keep my mitzvahs, I'll give you rain in the season. So you have to keep, so to speak, Hashem happy. So if you do what Hashem wants you to do, in order that He should give you the good stuff. So you want Hashem to give you what you want. So you have to pay Him by davening. You want to give Hashem what He's asking you to do, so He'll pay you. The Gemara says that if someone gives charity and he has in mind, I'm giving this charity because I want my son to live, he's a perfect tzaddik. So there is a way to serve Hashem that your davening is all about eating. That the things you do for Hashem is all about getting stuff. That is a path. The Gemara calls that path the tzaddik gomer, a perfect tzaddik. However, Rashi says if you're used to doing that, it's not just you do this once, but that's the way you approach life. Then that's a path. However, nevertheless, even if you got used to this, since you're doing the things for a selfish motive, that's not the objective. The Gemara says that you should do Torah mitzvahs for the wrong reasons, eventually do them for right reasons. But the Gemara is saying because we want to bring to a point where you're doing things for the right reasons. What's the best way things are supposed to be? What's the way things are supposed to be? It's not that you're learning and davening have no connection, and not that you're learning and davening have no connection to your eating. And it's not that you're learning and davening so Hashem will give you stuff to stifle your hunger so you should get stuff. Rather, the way to approach life is that you eat in order to daven. Of course you have to daven. In the simple sense. That's true. When you know that Hashem wants you to learn Torah and do mitzvahs, it can't be any different. So automatically you're not davening because you want to get something, because you're davening because Hashem wants you to daven. It's not that you want to, you're thinking about what you're going to get in the world to come if you daven, and you're for sure not thinking about what you're supposed to get in this world if you daven. You're davening because Hashem has asked you to daven. But that's not enough. What's demanded of us is that even when we eat, our eating should be for davening. That everything should be for the sake of Hashem. In all your ways you should know Hashem. The fact that you'll be rich, that you'll be, in Rebbe's words, down in Broad Street, and you'll be very high in your bracket, and you'll be able to pay 95% taxes. That's not yet the goal of why God made a human being. Everything is made for the sake of holiness.
95%.
Yes. The purpose is not that you should, that's not the goal. The goal is for holiness, in order that you should learn Torah with a sense of tranquility, and to do mitzvahs, and to give tzedakah with a broad hand. And don't be satisfied by doing this yourself, but you also have to influence others as well. Because when people see that you're rich, and that's what you're doing, it'll be much easier for you to influence others as well. As we see, that when a poor person says something, everyone laughs at him. When a rich person says something, even if it's a foolish thing, everyone copies him. How much more so if a rich person does something that's correct? So automatically, when he'll put on film, people will also put on film. He'll keep Shabbos, people will also keep Shabbos. Because people will see, this is the rich guy, how did he get rich? Because he keeps Shabbos. When he'll put on a Rabbeinu Tam's film, people will start wearing a Rabbeinu Tam's film. When he'll start eating Shmur matzah, all the other matzah bakeries will close, because everyone's going to want to get Shmur matzah. That's the meaning of eating for the sake of davening. That all of a person's things and all of his needs, which are called eating, things that he needs, have to be for the sake of davening, have to be for the sake of Torah mitzvahs, in order to bring more vitality to Torah mitzvahs. He wants to get stuff, not because he wants to get stuff. He wants to get stuff for the sake of davening. This should bring more energy, more excitement in Torah mitzvahs. Another lesson we get from the above mentioned is as follows. This instruction was given by Tzemach Tzedek to a woman, to a mother of children, which later became one of her children later became the leader of the Jewish people. Rabbi and Rivka, who mothered the Rabbi Rasha. What's the lesson? When you want to that your children should grow in a way that they shouldn't daven for the sake of eating, and they shouldn't live in a way that they're davening, they're eating, nothing to do with each other, but that they should eat for the sake of davening. It just depends upon the mother, that she should act in a way and give that spirit into her children from the youngest of ages, when they're still in their cribs, to give them that feeling that all of their things in their life have to be connected with Hashem. And without that, even if they have food to eat, but there's no taste in the food. What makes the food tasty? That the food has a connection that it's for Hashem. And then when you educate your children in this way, your children will grow to be great people, and they will they'll have an ability to daven, and they'll have ability to eat, and they'll be able to eat the way Hashem wants. Because what does Hashem want? The Jew should have from his full and open and holy hand, and they should have Bani Reviche, but Chai Reviche. Hashem wants us to have abundance, not just in nachas from our children, but also abundance in our health and abundance in parnasa. And may it be that Hashem should give us should pour brachas down without any limitation. There should a blessed home spiritually and a blessed home physically, and the father and mother should be able to have nachas with long life in their children, spiritual nachas and physical nachas.